We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football. And man, that is a difficult task right now. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. If you want to donate to the channel, hit the $sign when you're making a comment with a super chat, and we'll get you a comment right away. But please smash the like button. Welcome into the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid, PATC community. Do not be afraid to be a legend with your comments and with your phone calls later in the show. We've got another stacked show this afternoon, and we're coming on live again, 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 Pacific Time. Oregon, Washington, the Pac-12, the last Pac-12 championship game. We're going to be doing a watch party tonight. So a live show this afternoon, a watch party tonight. And then we're going to be on basically all day tomorrow. College football's Peek Around the Corner has been extremely busy. And I want to thank you all for your support. Thank you so very much for dropping in this afternoon. We've got a lawsuit against Oregon Title IX lawsuit. We've got Cameron Ward jumping in the portal. We've got the continuation of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish wide receiver room continues to crumble. But the major story is what's happening in Florida State. We had a gentleman in the chat who told us in yesterday's live show, a Florida State Seminole fan said, I believe his name was Chauncey. Hopefully he drops in this afternoon. He was telling us the reports out of Tallahassee. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with Tate Rodemaker. We know he got injured in last week's game. But it sounds like, and I'm not a doctor, and it sounds like it's concussion symptoms. We're going to be going over some reports here later in the show, later in the monologue. Florida State looks like they're down to their third string quarterback for the ACC championship game tomorrow night against Louisville, the Louisville Cardinals. This third string quarterback has thrown 4 passes in his collegiate career. And they happen to be this year. They happen to be last game, and Rodemaker had to go out of the game because of an injury. He did get back in. I don't know. It's going to be a tough road. The lines, the last line I saw in Vegas was Florida State was still favored by 1.5. I don't know what it is now. It probably has jumped. I'm assuming Louisville may be favored by a point and a half. Now, I am not sure. I haven't taken a look for a few hours. That game, the ramifications of that game knows no end. Florida State, if they win that game, they're going to the college football playoffs. Well, let's call it an invitational. Because I keep reading these articles. Oh, Florida State, even if they win, if they're not impressive, they still might not go to the playoffs. That's a bunch of hooey. If there's any truth to that, then there's something seriously wrong. But I don't believe in that a bit. Florida State win, they're in. If Florida State loses, they're out. And unfortunately for Louisville, with 2 losses, they're out. So there's a lot of fan bases out there hoping that Florida State loses their game against Louisville. The Seminole fan base, read the message boards today. They're still all fired up. They're worried. They're hoping that Rodemaker gets in the game tomorrow. It's a game time decision. Just like the title of our show, live show this afternoon. It's a game time decision. But Texas, they're hoping that Florida State doesn't get it done. Alabama, hoping that Florida State doesn't get it done. Ohio State, hoping that Florida State doesn't get it done. The winner of Oregon, Washington, they're in. The loser, they're out. Michigan wins, they're in. Georgia wins, they're in. But Alabama, Ohio State, and Texas, they need help. They need Florida State to lose, in my estimation. I don't think there is possibility for other chaos, but... And now we have the story. It looks like there's a possibility, a strong possibility, that Florida State is down to QB 3. And we'll get into what Mike Norvell said just this afternoon on the prospect of the quarterback 3 getting into the game, starting the game for the Florida State Seminoles. Before we get into all of our stories, I want to thank everybody who's coming on early today in the live chat. I appreciate it. Skull Ducky, what's up, everyone? Oregon, Washington. That's what's up, Skull Ducky. We're doing a watch party. Starting at 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific Time. I hope you all can join us. Ted Evans, early peak member, Mr. Washington Husky, just walked in the door from work. Greg alerts me. Nice. Mr. Evans. He's got to be feeling it. He has to be feeling a little bit of tension. A little bit of tension going into tonight. Michael Batts says, hello, everyone. Hello, Michael. The evil Badgers in the house. Jeff Olson, holy smokes. Jared Jones, early peak member. Mr. Buckeyes in the house. Stephen McNeely, early peak member, is in the house. Awesome. Lawson Clips, head on a swivel. Yeah, these are the days where your head has to be on a swivel because, my goodness. Yesterday's live show was crazy. Today's live show was crazy. So many things to get in. So many things to talk about from all different angles. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Coy, thanks for coming on in. Bob Husley, thank you. Jimmy, I appreciate it. Tim Bells, let's do this thing. Appreciate you coming in early into our afternoon show. Coy's in the house. The guy's name was Chad. Okay, thank you, Chad, from yesterday for giving us a heads up. Justin Lucas, Norvell on the ACC network said Brock took the vast majority of snaps just now. And we do have that. We're going to get into that right now. Let's not waste any more time. Let's first hit into Florida State. Going into tomorrow night's, I believe it's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Pacific. First of all, we had Chad or Chauncey in the chat yesterday telling us that reports coming out of Tallahassee was the quarterback was not healthy. And it really picked up during the day today. First of all, I saw a college football report. Has a great account, Twitter account, X account. Rumors are swirling that Florida State quarterback Tate Rodemaker may be out versus Louisville in the ACC championship. Could very well be a concussion from the late hit targeted against Florida last weekend. The line for Louisville versus Florida State has recently dropped a point in favor of Louisville. And then Pete Thamel from ESPN reports the status of Tate Rodemaker is in flux for the ACC title game. Get to know the name Brock Glenn, the third-string quarterback who suddenly looms as a pivotal figure in the college football playoff chase. And this was part of Pete Thamel's article that he put out. If Rodemaker is unable to play, Florida State would go with freshman Brock Glenn, who has taken only a handful of snaps this season. Glenn played late against North Alabama to get game reps and went 2 or 3 for 35 yards with a rushing touchdown. North Alabama, who they are a little bit below your average FCS football team this year. They're not even average. They're a little bit below average. He also came in for Rodemaker after he got hit against Florida last week, throwing it incomplete on his lone pass. So he threw 3 passes against North Alabama and a pass against Florida. Florida State is trying to win its first ACC championship since 2014 and make its first college football playoff appearance since 2014. The Seminoles have become a hot topic of playoff discussion, with Travis now out for the season but remain the number 4 team in the latest college football playoff rankings. Florida State head coach Mike Norvell said today that, this is from Nicole Auerbach from The Athletic, Tate Rodemaker did a lot of individual work this week in practice, including some team work, but freshman Brock Glenn got the bulk of the snaps in teams' activities, per Manny Navarro. So that is what we're looking at. That is what we are looking at. The name is Brock Glenn, third string quarterback of the Florida State Seminoles. He has become a pivotal figure in the college football playoff chase. Brock Glenn. I think we're going to see him tomorrow. Now, of course, none of us know for sure. Maybe Tate Rodemaker wakes up tomorrow morning, doesn't have any effects of the concussion he received last week. But I think the chances are that's not going to happen. Brock Glenn versus Louisville. It looks like the odds, the line is changing in Vegas. More money is getting poured on Louisville. Everyone, that game is not only pivotal for Florida State, but it's pivotal for Texas, Ohio State, and Alabama. Number 6, 7, and 8 ranked teams going in to the conference championship games. Now, the Buckeyes they're not going into a championship game. So Alabama and Texas have a very good shot at jumping. Hold on a second here. Trying to find... there we go. If Florida State loses, the winner of Washington and Oregon, they're going to the college football playoffs. If Washington loses, can they make it? If Washington loses tonight against Oregon, they would need Texas and Bama not to win, and then hope the committee takes them over the Buckeyes, to be honest with you. But for the Buckeyes, Texas, and Bama, if Florida State loses, and then the Buckeyes they're going to want the Longhorns or Bama or both to lose. In my opinion, Texas only needs Florida State to lose. And if Texas wins, they're in the playoffs. Bama needs Texas and Florida State to lose, in my opinion. And then the Buckeyes need even more than that. So, Florida State, this is why this game, it's going to get a lot of viewership. I tell you that. Pivotal game for Florida State. They have not won the ACC championship since 2014. They haven't been to the college football playoffs since 2014. We know what's going on behind the scenes, behind the curtain. Cloak and dagger. Florida State pushing the ACC for more revenue, unequal revenue sharing. They're the top dogs of the conference. So many things play into this. High drama Saturday evening, Florida State and Louisville. Now, we got a lot more to cover. I want to get to your comments about this particular story. Expedition Greg says there is a path for Ohio State. I agree with you. He also says, the early peak member, Expedition Greg, Florida State is in serious trouble. Might be in a third string quarterback. Yep, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Kiran Shakar, exciting weekend of college football they had absolutely tonight. We're coming on live 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 Pacific Time. We're going to come right back up tonight. We're going to be doing a watch party. Oregon, Washington, Pac-12 Championship. Please join us. Watch the game wherever you're at. Put down your real-time comments in the comment section below the video. Let's have some fun. Maybe we'll have time to open up the phone lines during halftime and after the game. Okay? So come join us. Watch the game together. Okay. Any break-in news? Oregon has listed Gary Bryant, wide receiver hamstring. Yahil Florence, cornerback, ankle. Nico Reed, cornerback shoulder, is questionable for tonight's game on the pregame report. Thanks. Appreciate that report. Okay. John Teal, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate it so much. My Bruins need that Ohio State receiver coach. Come on, Bruins. John, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your continued generosity. I did not know. Are they, has there been reports that UCLA might be able to get Heartline? Let me know. Let me know. Has there been public reports about that? Thank you, John, for the super chat. I appreciate it again. As we talked about Chip Kelly yesterday, it's a tough spot because I think a lot of assistant coaches, guys that are trying to recruit out of the transfer portal, I think a lot of people are looking at Chip Kelly as a lame duck head coach, including the donors. Tough spot for Chip Kelly. Now, I said the exact same thing about Neil Brown, West Virginia, last year, and he came out. West Virginia had a very good season, 8-4. So maybe Chip Kelly can do the same thing here in 2024. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Before we get to the other stories, yes, JT Daniels from Rice has medically retired playing football. Thank you, Anthony, for bringing that up. JT Daniels, he says he's all fired up, ready to go into coaching. That was his plan. So congratulations to JT Daniels for his collegiate career. All good luck to him. Going to be a head coach, going to be an assistant coach. I don't know what he's going to be, but he's going into coaching. So good luck to him. Okay, so let's get to the portal. We'll get back to Florida State. We'll get back to the Florida State issue. But here it is. We all thought this was going to happen, but now it's publicly out there. On 3, earlier today, Washington State's quarterback Cam Ward plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Per Chris Hummer. Cam Ward. Now, On 3 has their own transfer portal rankings. And this actually lines up pretty much the same with the 247 quarterback transfer portal rankings. So there does seem to be some consensus. On 3 has Cam Ward number 1. Will Howard number 2. Riley Leonard number 3. I think we can look at this as tiers. Tier 1 is Cam Ward, Will Howard, Riley Leonard. DJ is not in that first tier. Now, that doesn't mean, DJ could have the best year of any of them next year, wherever he goes. But right now, when it comes to offers, interest, Cam Ward, and if you read The Athletic, they had a long article this morning. They actually, the people that were talking said Cam Ward is the one so far, that Riley Leonard has all the capabilities. It doesn't quite have the arm strength. That hurts his accuracy at times. But Cam Ward, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, 1, 2, 3, anywhere you want to go, that is tier 1 of the quarterbacks. Tyler Van Dyke is a complete wild card. Something happened to Tyler Van Dyke. I don't know. 3 years ago, I'd be saying in 2024 he will be entering the NFL draft. 2 years ago, he stumbled badly on the football field, and how in public relations with the Miami Hurricane fan base. He just did I don't want to pick on the guy too much, but something went wrong with Tyler Van Dyke. This year, he got nicked up. It never seemed like he was healthy. He throws a lot of interceptions, crazy passes. Tyler Van Dyke, DJ, and Real Rodgers are tier number 2. Tier number 2. I think those 3 are a cut above the rest of them. Max Brosmer is considered the best FCS quarterback in the transfer portal. The best FCS quarterback. Out of New Hampshire. I know the Gophers have offered him. Wake Forest has offered him. The Athletic said this morning that Mac Brosmer has the intellect. He's great at processing the field. But they're a little nervous about his athletic ability playing at a Power 5 conference level. And then Grayson McCall, basically, the book on him mimics the book on Max Brosmer. Max Johnson, Tyler Shaw. Max Johnson, a weak arm. Very weak arm. But North Carolina, he's already committed to North Carolina. So those are your transfer portal. Dante Moore is not on that top 10 list. Dante Moore. Of course, he's not officially in the portal as of yet. He goes in there December 4th. So, now, let's go to another portal news. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Let's go to, again, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You heard me discuss the Notre Dame issue all during the offseason, before the season started, before 2023, all during the season. And now, unfortunately for you all, you're going to have to hear me talk about it during the whole offseason, again in 2024. Notre Dame's wide receiver room has been weak for years, and they still have the problem. Yesterday, Tobias Merriweather, a sophomore, did not perform at a high level, but actually caught some passes, starting to get his feet wet. He goes in the portal. Today, Rico Flores goes in the portal. Notre Dame's top returning wide receiver, now into the portal after the departure of wide receiver coach Stuckey early this week. Now, I was thinking when Stuckey left, that was going to help the situation because there was frustration. But I guess not. It did not help. It did not help. Rico Flores was I think he was a true freshman this year, or he was a freshman. It was his first year playing ball. I know that. Freshman, true freshman. I know he caught about 20-some, 28, 26, 27 passes. A good first-year wide receiver. Getting him developed. Fine, Notre Dame having to go to the youngsters because their upperclassmen wide receivers, well, they're just not very good. Sam Hartman couldn't throw to them. They didn't get open. And now this guy goes in to transfer portal. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, inside the Irish Twitter. Pass catchers that have entered the transfer portal this week. Chris Tyree, who was a veteran of the wide receiver room. Tobias Merriweather, we talked about him. Braylon James, the tight end, and then Rico Flores. What is going on with the offensive side of the football? ... I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I don't know what the heck's going on. I have been questioning this for a couple years. Marcus Freeman just got done as the second year as the head coach. I know people get tired of me talking about this, but there is something where Notre Dame is unable to develop wide receivers and keep them and have them make plays for them. It's that one position. Tight ends, they're good. Offensive line, of course, they're good. They haven't been able to develop a high school quarterback. That's another serious problem. But they solved that by getting Sam Hartman. This year in the portal, they might solve that by getting Riley Leonard. But what are they going to do with the wide receiver room? Another point is I don't know all the details. I don't know all the intricacies of the issues involving Notre Dame being able to take in an undergrad student athlete. It seems like it's a lot easier for them to accept a grad student. They have limitations when it comes to their underclassmen. Limits on the number of underclassmen in the portal. In Notre Dame, as it is, the university. I don't know the story. Somebody in the chat, somebody with a phone call, give me a call. Something stops Notre Dame. Joe Z, early peak member, Notre Dame is going to have a Stanford problem. That's a good way of putting it. So anyways, I wanted again, to illustrate the issues of Notre Dame. A lot of things going right for the football program, but there is a problem with the wide receiver room. It's been going on for a couple years, and we're going to keep talking about it. I know I got Notre Dame Fighting Irish fans mad at me. I got everybody mad at me. That's what we do on the show. Everybody in the chat, eventually you get mad at me, but you got to call it like we see it here. There's an issue at Notre Dame. Wide receiver position. It's a big one. Okay, let's get to the next. Well, let's get to your comments about this. We got a couple more stories to get to. I want to thank Awesome Clips, early peak member. Holy smokes. You have been knighted. Awesome Clips, early peak member, Cloak and Dagger. For those who don't know, you can be an early peak member, $5.99 a month. You get to watch membership-only college football's early peak episodes as we drop the early information nuggets in these episodes. We talk about subjects that we can't quite get to in the live show and the watch parties, but we also drop a little bit of information before anybody else gets it. You get it at early peak. So thank you so very much. Awesome loss and clips. The Louisville Cardinal, the PATC. Hit that join button. If you're interested, hit the join button. Join early peak membership. We just have one level of membership. It's not complicated. You get the membership only episodes early peak. Let's get to the comments. We got more and more stories to get to. Holy smokes. Louisville, that's right. Awesome loss and clips. Mr. Early Peak member. Any breaking report rumor. Utah tight end Keith. Great tight end. Been nicked up, been injured. Who was seen as the best tight end in college football before he was ruled out this year. Is planning to enter the transfer portal. If that is the case, if you have a link to it, forward it to me on my Twitter account so I can easily see it once we start cruising on the old X machine. If you have any reports on that, Andy, show that to me. Appreciate it. That would be a big deal. Expedition Greg, I've heard from a report Cam Ward has been linked to Ohio State and DJ from Oregon State has been linked to Michigan State. I have seen a report that Cam Ward is basically linked to everybody so far. I've seen the Buckeyes. I've seen a whole bunch of reports on Cam Ward. DJ, I saw reports linked to Michigan State, and then I saw reports that Michigan State would be the last school he goes to because somebody in his family did not like how Jonathan Smith left Oregon State. So the DJ to Oregon to play with his brother, that's out there. There's reports flying everywhere. It's hard to keep up with. DJ thing is bizarre with the Michigan State. Some people say, yes, he's going there. Some people say that's the last place he would go to. You know what? Awesome loss and clips. That is a great question. Where is the option to buy membership for others? I have not looked into that. I know you can. If anybody in the chat room knows how to do that, let us know. I know people like to buy memberships and for just anybody. And then on your YouTube account, you somehow get yourself open to accept a gift membership. So anyways, I apologize. I haven't looked into that. I know there's a way to do it. Somebody in the chat or give me a call. Explain to me how to do it. Whoops, I screwed that up. Hold on. Okay. Woo! Okay, phone lines are open, 763-260-133. I'm just going to open them up right now. But yes, we want to get that going because I've had a couple people say, yes, I want to be able to do like 4 memberships, just put it out on the chat, and then people can grab them. That would help out people who don't really have the resources right now to buy themselves a membership, but they want a membership. So gift memberships are a fantastic way to think about others as we head in towards the holidays. So thank you, Awesome Clips. We are going to look into it. Awesome Clips. I hope Louisville goes after Ward. A lot of people want to go after Ward. That's the thing about having Jeff Brom, though, as your head coach. Having Jeff Brom as your head coach opens up the pathway for Louisville to get themselves a prime quarterback.
Call from
JD.
JD, the floor is yours. It looks like the third stringer might have to play.
Yes, sir. Piggybacking off of our conversation yesterday, Tate has been practicing this week, but I wasn't paying much attention that he wasn't participating in a lot of 7-on-7 and 11-11. And, the reason the fan base kind of figured it out is one of the podcasts and some of the media that was at practice just happened to notice that he didn't participate in some sessions. So then that raised the question, and then if you know FSU, the fan base, they got about 30 podcasts and radio shows. I mean, there's a heavy media presence, and I know it's like that with every fan base, but I mean it's magnified, at least with ours, from what I can tell. Yep. And so people figured it out. Now, I will say this about Brock Glenn. Brock had a broken hand during the season. If he hadn't have done that, he's progressed. Even though he's a true freshman, he has progressed so well. He might be the backup quarterback instead of Tate.
Okay.
So it's not like you're going back to the Marcus Outson thing. Years ago when FSU played Tennessee in the national championship game, you had Outson as the quarterback because the other two quarterbacks were hurt, and we lost the national championship game, but it was like our quarterback was basically the scout team quarterback. Mm-hmm. You follow me?
Yep.
And so it's not quite this. So is Brock capable of being successful? Yes. He lacks experience, but he doesn't lack confidence. Tate's the polar opposite. Tate's got an NFL arm that some of his throws Aaron Rodgers would be envious of. Mm. But he has his moments like in practice or even some of the games that he's been in. People are like, wow, that could go to the league. And then 3 plays later, they're like, my God, what were you doing? So it's just the consistency's not there. Who knows what he could be once he has the chance to fully, possibly be the guy. And then, like I said, on the flip side with Brock Glenn, Brock's a tough kid with a lot of confidence, and, he thinks he's going to be an All-American,
Okay.
So.
Okay, well, he's going to need that confidence tomorrow night.
We'll see. I mean, would you sit there and say, do I think a win's guaranteed? Absolutely not. Can we lose? Absolutely. Absolutely, we could lose. Do I still give us the edge most everywhere else? I do. If our offensive line holds up, there's a chance we might have a couple guys back, and then there's a couple guys that are still they're ailing pretty bad. So I don't know. But again, if it doesn't happen, it was a great season, and but at least we got a puncher's chance. And like I said, if we win this, this will be the happiest ACC championship I will have ever. We will. The most grateful, or the one I will appreciate the most, I guess, is what you'd say. They used to be old hat, and now they're, we haven't had them for a while, and with this year, it's just like, I'd love to have a trophy up in the trophy case,
Yeah. But, I suppose they might become old hat for some fan bases, but then when you haven't been there for 9 years, it gets pretty exciting again.
Yes, sir. And then I heard you talking about everybody's associated with DJU. The some of the recruiting coordinators for one of the recruiting coordinator for On3 and the War Chant site was just said there is mutual interest from FSU and DJ.
Okay.
But there might be mutual interest for 50 schools. We don't know. It's just, I think Monday's going to be a wild day for sure.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And but heard something that there's a chance Johnny Wilson might come back next year. So, and there might be a couple of people that stick around for an extra year. So that might be another reason they might want to have a backup plan, because I think going into next year it was Tate and Brock with the expectation that probably Brock would take over. And then you got Luke Krummenhoek. He's right on the neighborhood of a 5-star quarterback, but he will probably be a 5-star by the time it's all said and done. But anyway, but they might take that one more safety net, one more somewhat experienced quarterback, and FSU's been really good at developing players. So I think if they could take a guy that just needs a little work but has tremendous upside, so that they have continued success next year. I mean, their recruiting class is looking fantastic. Right now they're number 3, and they might end up number 2 or number 1 possibly. That's going to be hard to do, but they've got significant momentum right now. So 2025, I expect to be an excellent. I expect them to be contenders again. Next year, I just hope they contend for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to chime in. I'm tied up with work, but I had a few minutes to listen to the show, and I just wanted to seize the opportunity to kind of call and kind of fill in some folks about what Brock Glenn. He's not devoid of talent. He's just a true freshman. Yeah. He missed 6-7 weeks this year during the season with a broken hand, but he's back now. So we'll see. We'll just see how it goes.
Going to be pretty exciting. That's it's going to be exciting for college football fans. Nerve-wracking for Seminole and Cardinal fans. Thanks for calling, JD. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening.
You got it, buddy. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. I see the chat room talking about Cameron Ward coming to Eugene 4 hours ago. It was announced. The problem with that is, I don't think it's true. Zachary Neal, an article on Ducks Wire was incorrectly published and has been since deleted, and we are working to remove it from syndication to Yahoo and other sites. Please disregard. Thank you for understanding. This was about 3 hours ago. And this has to do with Cameron Ward. So the whole Cameron Ward to Oregon was incorrectly published, and then it went off to other sites. So until we see a fresh report of that, PATC does not consider that to be true at this point. Okay? We do not think Cameron Ward, Oregon is a true report at this point. Okay? Okay. Now, other news today, this afternoon, Friday, December 1st, it's been a very busy day. We haven't even gotten through all the stories. Indiana's new head coach, Curt Cignetti, Coach Sig, he calls himself, just told Nicole Auerbach this earlier today that Indiana will be playing in the Big Ten championship game next year. Indiana headquarters, Cignetti, with a hell of a quote at the end of his Big Ten Network interview in Indianapolis. Quote, I figured I had to make this trip up here to Indianapolis since we'll be playing in this game next year. Dave Revzine, the long-time host at Big Ten Network, ask if he's willing to go on record. Coach Sig says, I'm on record. So Indiana Hoosiers head coach saying, we're coming back here in the championship game next year. Indiana Hoosiers. He's either on to something or he's on to something. Coach Signetti trying to fire up he's trying to fire up his donors, his fan base. He wants recruits to give them a look that normal recruits want. So I don't blame the coach for. It sounds a little goofy. It does, but I don't blame him. He's trying to get excitement going. Indiana Hoosiers football. We're getting back. We're coming to the Big Ten championship game next year. I think it's all in fun. Mountain West Conference and Oregon State and Washington State finally has reached that scheduling agreement. This is from Brett McMurphy Action Network. Oregon State, Washington State will play 6 games versus Mountain West teams, 3 at home, 3 on the road. All 12 Mountain West teams will play 7 conference games plus 1 game versus either Oregon State or Washington State, which won't count in the conference standings. Oregon State and Washington State are not eligible for the Mountain West title game. So it finally happened. Finally official. Washington and Oregon State, they have their schedule set up for next year. They have a scheduling agreement with the Mountain West. They're also going to play, I think it was 5 Power 5 conference games. Both teams on the 2024 schedule. And then maybe, I think that's about it. So, that's all done. Finally, that part of it is all done for 2024. The question is 2025. Is there a merger between the Mountain West schools and Oregon State, Washington State for 2025, or does that wait until 2026? I know the College Football Playoff Committee are going to handle Oregon State and Washington State as independent schools. The 2-team conference of the Pac-2, the winner of that will not get an automatic berth if they're the top 5 ranked conference champions at the end of the year. They're not going to get the automatic berth. The College Football Playoff Committee is not going to recognize the Pac-2 as a conference that can get the automatic berth. The conference has to have at least 8 members. Yes, we did, Immaculate. He's retiring and he's going into coaching. He's all fired up. We wish him good luck. JT Daniels is going into coaching. G. Brew likes the moxie of Signetti. Only way they're coming is with tickets. Early peak member Ryan Brooks. That happens a lot. A lot of that is happening. We've had a few golfers lately do that. So, okay, the lines are open. 763-260-1333. We have gone through the Florida State issue. Looks like they're going to have to go to the 3rd string quarterback for the ACC championship game tomorrow night. We talked about, again, Notre Dame loses a wide receiver in the transfer portal, Rico Flores, a true freshman that had 27 catches this season. He was going to be their top returning wide receiver for next year. Gone in the portal. We talked about the Mountain West, Oregon State, Washington State scheduling agreement. Cameron Ward is in the portal. transfer portal rankings. There seems to be a consensus between On3 and 247 and what was reported in The Athletic. Tier 1, Ward, Howard, Leonard. However, which way you want to splice it, those are the top 3 in the portal right now. Then DJ, Van Dyke, and Will Rogers, Tier 2. Tier 3, McCall and Brosmer. So that is your transfer portal rankings right now. We'll see if anybody else joins. We'll see if Malik Murphy joins Texas. Not yet. Not yet. Yes, check it out. Is asking Cam Ward, top of the quarterback portal? Yes, he is. On3 has him at the top. The Athletic has him on the top. 247 has him with Riley Leonard at the top. Terry Fox, Signetti isn't Bashville. Old Ducks fan 1. They haven't erased it yet on Ducks Wire. I can tell you that on Duck territory at 247, they are not... they do not believe the story is true. The Ducks people that I listen to, it isn't true yet. It's not a true report yet. Don't know how else to say it. Don't know. I'm checking. Yeah, it just isn't there, guys. Cameron Ward to Oregon. If it happens, it hasn't happened yet. It has not happened yet. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. Jeremy McKinley. Dante Moore, not in top 10 or not official in portal. Not officially in the portal. Dante Moore cannot officially be in the portal until Monday. So, those are the ones that are officially in the portal right now, either by a grad transfer or it's their first time transferring, so they have that free one, or their coach has left them. So they have a 30-day window. Dante Moore, he's already transferred once. He's not a grad transfer. And Chip Kelly's still the head coach of UCLA. Zachary Neal is the one that is saying that the story is incorrect. Zachary Neal is the exact person who is saying that the story is not correct. Cam Ward, this is the last time I'm going to say it. Cam Ward is not officially a Duck. Unless we see another report come out during our live show or tonight when we do the watch party, I'll happily report it. But as of now, it is not true. We're doing a watch party tonight, 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 Pacific Time, Washington, Oregon, Pac-12 Championship. I hope you join us. Watch it wherever you are, comfortably at your own home, whatever. Put down your comments, real-time comments in the comments section during the game. Let's watch it together. We'll have the phone lines open. We'll have some fun, okay? So join us, watch party, PATC watch party, later this evening. Have I picked the game tonight? No, I haven't. But I'm going to go ahead and pick it right now. I believe the Oregon Ducks will defeat the Washington Huskies. And I believe the Oregon Ducks will win the Pac-12 championship, obviously, and go to the college football playoffs. And they're going to be a very tough out. But I'm not going to have Oregon win in the national championship. I'm going to wait till later tonight during the watch party to tell you who I think is going to win the national championship. But I think Oregon is going to win tonight. Now that means that the Washington Husky fans should be pretty excited because Greg the Cooler, myself, I'm talking in third voice, I believe the Oregon Ducks are going to win. That means the Washington Huskies have a very good chance of winning tonight. The portal doesn't officially open until Monday, but there are exceptions to that. One, if you are a grad student, you can be in the portal. There are grad students in the portal right now. Some of those names on that ranking list are grad students. They've already graduated. They can drop into the portal right now, today. The other exception is if your head coach has left the program, either getting fired or he left the program, he got hired, but mostly it's because he got fired. There is a 30-day window for you to go into the portal. Riley Leonard is in the portal because of that, officially. Those are, or if it's your first, those are the two that you can get in the portal at those 30-day window if your coach gets fired and if you're a grad student. But for everybody else, the portal opens on Monday. For the quarterbacks, for the football players that are in the portal right now, there's already people like I saw. I better be careful when I say this. There's reports out there, and I'm not going to be able to find it now. They're lining up visits. They're lining up visits. Yeah, I can't find it. Yes, the Cooler, myself, I am picking Oregon to win tonight. So I don't know if Washington wants to celebrate now or celebrate at halftime or celebrate later tonight. But I believe the Oregon Ducks are going to win tonight. Sko Ducky's not happy with me. Immaculate, sorry about the bad news. If Oregon wins the Natty, Greg will need to hear your apology. Well, okay, I get it. Now, John Teal, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate your continued generosity to this channel. Pratt is a senior. Tulane plus DJ equals the playoffs. Michael Pratt has one more year of eligibility. I'm going to put up his stats here. We're going to talk about Michael Pratt here. Thank you so much, John, for the comment, for the super chat. We don't talk enough. We talked a lot about Michael Pratt in the offseason. If you look here, Michael Pratt is an interesting situation. He's played 4 full years, but that 2020, that doesn't count on his eligibility. You can scratch that 2020 season. Everybody gets to scratch that off their possible eligibility. He played 10 games, but you have to treat it as 0 games when talking about eligibility. He has 1 more year. Now, after the 2022 season, there was reports that Michael Pratt was going to go in the portal. He had an incredible year, right? Unbelievable year. Tulane won the AAC. They beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. But he came back. He came back for Tulane, and he's put up another great year. He's got a better quarterback rating. Not as many yards, not as many games. But he did it again. He did it again. Now there's rumors that Michael Pratt could go into the portal again. Or he could go into the NFL draft. But his draft stock probably isn't as high as it should be. And maybe he wants to have 1 more year, play it at a power autonomy 4 level to help his NFL stock. Here's the issue. Tulane plays in the ACC championship game, and then Tulane has a very good shot at playing in a New Year's Bowl. So when does Michael Pratt put his name in the portal? If he's going to put his name in the portal, it would have to be right after Tulane's game on January 1st. The portal opens December 4th. Now he's a grad, so he could wait. He could go in there later. But the problem is when you have the portal opening December 4th, a lot of teams that are looking for, willing to pay, their collectives are willing to pay some really good NIL money. Those slots are going to be filled through the month of December, early December, middle December, late December. While Michael Pratt is going to be with Tulane Green Wave getting ready, probably, if they win Saturday, they're going to be getting ready to play in another New Year's Bowl for the second year in a row. So, the questions on Michael Pratt are endless. Is he going to the NFL draft in the spring? Is he going to stay at Tulane for next year? Is he going to go into the portal? And if he is, will there be a spot open for him? I mean, a spot that would help his stock. A spot where NIL money is good enough for him to go to an autonomy for. The Michael Pratt story is one of the more interesting stories here when we're talking about possible transfer portal. Bearcat Steve, watched Ohio high school football D2 final last night. Announcers said 15 D1 players on the field. D3 on now at the high school playoffs. Announcers said 7 to 10 D1 players. D1 championship tonight. That's quite a recruiting grounds there in the state of Ohio. John Grove, Rebecca Go Huskies, is going to be thrilled with Greg's pick. What's it going to cost to change that pick to Washington? Oh, come on, Skull Ducky. Come on. One other story that we haven't hit upon yet, and I don't even really want to hit upon it tonight. I'll just mention it. If you want to talk about it in the chat, go ahead. If you want to give us a call, go ahead. I talked about it for just a second in the opening monologue. we have so much going on right now that it's really hard for me to focus on this Title IX lawsuit. Oregon women student athletes suing the university. And I think it's 32 women student athletes, 26 from maybe beach volleyball and some other sport, and another 6 from rowing or something. And it's a long, I read it, and paraphrasing it, it's basically suing the university because they were not treated in the equal same manner that their male counterparts were, student athletes were. But what it all entails, my eyes glossed over. I'm not saying that it's not a serious lawsuit. I don't know. NIL was a part of it. But there's so many court cases going on. I have to let these things materialize a little bit. I have to let them marinate, let them develop before we really start doing a deep dive on. I cannot spend all my time talking about things that have happened in the courts when it comes to college sports. We know change is on the way. We don't know where it's all going. There's a lot of lawsuits happening. We'll talk about it when it's important. You can talk about this in the chat or give me a call if you want to talk about it. But there's so much stuff going on in the football field tonight, this weekend, and I'm not saying that's not a serious lawsuit. I have no idea. Maybe it is. Maybe it changes the world, but there's so many lawsuits out there, it's hard to even... It's really difficult right now to even... to really discuss on a deep level because it would take too much time. Immaculate, man, too many cases. House versus NCAA. Johnson versus NCAA. There's some big ones out there. No question about it. And I'm not saying this is not going to be... This could be the biggest one. This one could be the biggest one. I just don't have time today to I read it. But you know me, I'm too much of an idiot to understand what I'm actually reading. So if you want to call, go ahead. The phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. Talk about anything you want in college football. Matt, Bo Nix for Heisman. Bo Nix for Heisman. Oregon could drop some women's sports. Well, if you do, then you're going to have to drop some men's sports. You got to have equal or roughly equal representation of scholarships between women and men. That's like the number one key point in Title IX. That's not going away. That is not going away. Congratulations to the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens for adding a sport, Women's Division I hockey. That's great news for Delaware, and that's great news for Division I collegiate women's hockey. Anytime there's a new Division I institution, Division I team that's added to women's or men's hockey, it's a very good day for college hockey. The growth of the sport, it keeps climbing just a little bit here, a little bit there. So congratulations to the Delaware Fighting Women's Blue Hens hockey program, Division I. It happened, Delaware, and it was announced today. So Delaware, the whole athletic department, is moving into Conference USA in 2025. Not just their football program, but their basketball programs. Their hockey program, women's hockey, I read a report where it's going, and I can't remember where it's going to be. Obviously, Conference USA does not have a women's hockey league. But anyways, congratulations to Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. If I become an Early Peak member, do I get the Little General's recipes? We could have that as part as Early Peak. I'll have to talk to the Little General. But yes, I think we can get that done, Michael Batts. I think we'll get that done. Once in a while, we'll put an Early Peak episode where we go through the recipes. I'll flash it up on the screen, go through a little thing on how she does it, because it's not just the ingredients, right? It's what she does, especially with her soups. But yes, we'll put that, Michael Pratt, if you join, I will make sure that once a month we'll have a Little General recipe. Now you know it's Mexican, right? Mexico City, to be exact. That's where her cooking comes from. There's 32 different states in the country of Mexico. They all have the different cultures, the different ingredients, the different way they cook it. So hers is Pacific Mexico City. Big urban Mexico City street tacos. That's her. She doesn't know anything about burritos. Mexico City doesn't eat burritos, for just one example. They don't eat flour tortilla. That's another example. Just to let you know, Michael Batts. So hit that join button, and I'll make sure we get one recipe out there a month at Early Peak. And I will figure out, Awesome Clips told me that I can go into YouTube and enable it to where people can buy other people's Early Peak memberships. I guess I have to do something first. I did not know that. I apologize to the PATC community. Awesome Clips is at least the third person who's let me know that they want to buy other people memberships, where you just go on and buy a couple memberships, and then if you yourself open your own YouTube account up to be able to accept a gift, then you get a membership, a month membership. So we'll get that figured out. I will do that hopefully before I pop on live for the watch party tonight. Watch party. Oregon, Washington. We're going to do it tonight starting at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific. Washington, Oregon, PATC watch party. Come and watch it. Watch it with us. Now, of course, I can't have the game up on the screen. Watch it at home. Watch it on your phone. Watch it on your tablet. And put down your comments and thoughts in the comment section below the video in real time during the game. Capture your emotions real time. Let us know if the refs blew a call in real time. Let us know if Lanning or DeBoer is blowing it in real time during the game. It's lots of fun. Join us. We've been doing a whole bunch of watch parties since we've had this YouTube channel. We love it. Nobody else really does it except for Coach Coop, Miami, Florida. You got to visit his YouTube channel. You got to subscribe. He does Miami of Florida watch parties, and he has like 800,000 people. I have about 20, 30, 40, depending on the game. I had 190 with the Nebraska-Minnesota game. That was a lot of fun. Coach Coop, been around for years, does an incredible job. Miami of Florida football. He does watch parties. He does them in a big way. He does a fantastic job. There are people out there that they do their team's live watch party games. I don't know if anybody does like myself, who does a national college football YouTube channel, that does watch parties for more than one team. They just do it when there's a big game on. I don't know. I don't see anybody else doing it. We do it because we have fun. I don't get a lot of clicks. I don't care. I love college football. I want to have fun. I want to watch the game with people. Put down your comments. I'm going to be I'm not going to be rooting for either team, but I'm going to be screaming and yelling at the refs, at the coaches, at the players. I'm going to be cheering the great plays. Join us. If you want, join us. It's free. It's free. So watch the game in front of your big 55-inch TV, 70-inch TV, and put on college football's Peek Around the Corner and watch it with us. Mexico City tacos, legendary. Yes, they are. So you know what? I will do that. Once a month. I'll make sure. I will make sure at early peak we will present Mireya Hernandez Garcia recipe once a month. Great idea. Fantastic idea. I love the culinary education. Well, the fat guy from Minnesota loves the culinary Mexico City food. How about them apples? Coop is very entertaining. He is great. He does a great job. I will figure it out. Awesome clips. I'm going to figure it out somewhere in my settings, and I'm going to try to get that done before we come up live tonight in our watch party. Let's see if there's any other breaking news. Again, this is a crazy time in college football. When you're doing a live college football channel, usually when we come up live here, we've got like one big story, maybe another, and we cover it, and people are... This time of year, there's like 20 small stories. Not small, like they're impactful, but they're only impactful for certain fan bases. And man, all week long, last week, same thing. Trying to keep your head on a swivel, making sure you're capturing everything that's going on. Just checking the news real quick here. Here's Jim Harbaugh. Leading his team. Michigan arrives to Lucas Oil Stadium. Good. How you doing? Good, how are you? Hey, what's up, man? Coach, how you doing, man? So that's that game is tomorrow night. Michigan, Iowa. Holy smokes. So much to talk about. So much to focus on. Tonight, though, now we're going to come on 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific. We're going to be keeping an eye on the Liberty, New Mexico State Conference USA game. We're going to come on live about 30 minutes after the opening kickoff. Look, Washington and Oregon is our big watch party game, but we're also going to be keeping an eye on Jerry Kill versus Jamie Chadwell, Conference USA Championship. It's exciting, so we're going to be following it. What needs to happen for Toledo? New Year's Bowl? Ooh, Matt, great question. Well, obviously Toledo has to win their MAC Conference Championship game, and I would have to think that Liberty and Tulane would have to lose, and I believe Toledo would get ahead of a New Mexico State, right? Even though New Mexico State, they have 3 losses, but they beat Auburn. I think they had another Power 5 win in there, I believe. I think Toledo needs 2 things to happen. Liberty to lose, Tulane to lose. And then Toledo needs to win. And, you know, it's... Look, Jason Candle, I don't want any Toledo fans getting mad at me, but Jason Candle has done everything that he possibly could at Toledo, except for lead Toledo into the college football expanded playoffs, which begin next year. Toledo's going to be one of those football programs, along with Liberty, along with Tulane. You can see these top tier programs forming in G5 conferences that are going to be competing for that automatic berth to the conference football playoffs. Toledo's one of those schools. Jason Candle stays there another year. Toledo's going to be one of those schools that are going to be a threat, a real threat to get to the college football playoffs. I don't know if the ripple effects, we got this carousel going on. We don't know, we just don't know the end of it yet. But right now, it kind of looks like Jason Candle might be staying at Toledo for another year. And if he is, and there's a lot of changes going on in the MAC, so Toledo might be primed for quite a run. Steve and McNeely, thank you for the super chat. Beautiful avatar. Great. Did the Big Ten really punish Michigan since it had zero impact? Yeah, they punished them. And maybe it did have an impact, but not enough. Michigan won their games. Michigan's got a great football team. We have not shied away from that at all. I think it was punishment. The punishment wasn't supposed to be Michigan. You get an automatic loss, right? Michigan was still able to compete. The student athletes were still able to compete. Nothing was taken away from them. Michigan is going to get some more punishment down the road by the NCAA. There's no question about it. Loss of scholarship, a fine, something is going to happen. And I also believe something more is going to happen to Jim Harbaugh. It sounds like the Chicago Bears, the Carolina Panthers are interested in Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL. Michigan was punished. I believe the punishment was justified. And at this point in time, I don't believe the Big Ten should have punished them more. So, I got a whole bunch of Michigan fans mad at me, and I got everybody else on the other side mad at me, but I think Tony Petitti did it just about right. My opinion only. They had to do something, they did something, they had justification, they had evidence, and they had the ability in the Big Ten bylaws to hand down a punishment. I think if they would have went more than what they did, I think that would have been incorrect. I think Tony Petitti played it right. My opinion. Again, I get everybody mad at me, but that's what happens. Thank you, Stephen McNeely, for your generosity to this channel. I appreciate it so very much. Back to your comments. Yes, Nick Kelso, you are correct. Bobby Petrino, back on the hill. Back to Arkansas. This is his second time back at Arkansas. He's been at Louisville 2 times. He likes to always go back home. How do you think that's going to work, Nick? Is that going to work out for Arkansas? For the head coach who's still there, Pittman? Give us a call, 763-260-1333. The phone lines are open. Talk about anything in college football. Matt says Jason Candle's great. He will be gone through next year. Matt, ass on Michigan. You can only attempt to punish a program and a group of kids, and they stay resilient so many times. Go cheer for your own team. Wow. Tony, tough Tony. I hope Jerry Kill gets the W. Yeah, it's Jamie Chadwell.
Call from.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, who's this?
This is Kansas State fan.
Kansas State fan. The floor is yours. How you doing, sir?
I'm a little bit under the weather, if I'm going to be honest, Greg. I was just going to tune in for the most part, but I thought I'd give you some company and let you relax a little bit while I mention a few things right off the bat.
You got it. Thank you, buddy.
I was the one who pointed out the Rebecca Go-Haskins. I said she was going to be real thrilled with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those who don't know, my name is John Grove. I just referred to I first referred to myself as Kansas State fan.
Got it.
But now the identity's out there.
Yep.
Anyways, I probably do that early on. But I've been hearing a lot of rumors, and especially around around Big 12 country, that Willie Fritz might be ending up in Houston after the AAC championship game. I know there's been several rumors out there with Jeff Traylor of UTSA and Gary Patterson possibly coming back, but apparently it sounds as if, and based from what I've known, that the talks are starting to heat up, and there might be a result here or there with Willie Fritz possibly heading to Houston after the AAC championship. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I do. Willie Fritz made a public comment, I think it was sometime last year, and I kind of believed him, or at least I think he thought this was the case. He kind of said, "This is my last place, Tulane. I'm not going anywhere else." Now he has, what else could he do at Tulane except for, same question with Jason Cano at Toledo, next year, expanded playoffs, Tulane's going to be primed. Some point Tulane might get to the ACC, but Willie Fritz, he's kind of up there in age. I know we did a report yesterday, the Houston Chronicle reported that Jeff Traylor has had 2 interviews with Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to think about, okay, so let's say we also there was a report out saying that Tulane is upping their coaching salary for Willie Fritz from like $2.9 million to $4.5 million a season. Mm-hmm. That would put him in the middle of the Big 12. You also have to start looking at, let's say Willie Fritz is really interested in the Houston job. When would he pull the trigger on that? Would he pull it now? Or would he have to do it after the bowl game? After the AAC championship game? You think it's very difficult with this type of calendar now to wait until after the bowl game. He would almost have to pull it right after the AAC game. And then one more thing, and I'll let you, one more thing, and then you have to think, okay, is Willie Fritz going to take the Houston job? If he does, and if he accepts it right after the bowl game, does a Michael Pratt follow him to Houston, or does Michael Pratt try to go to, somebody in the Big Ten or the SEC? That's another question. Obviously, Michael Pratt probably ain't going to go back to Tulane if Willie Fritz is gone. But I'll let you back. You have the floor.
I could possibly see it. I don't know if NIL has really made an effect on this since it occurred, but I can see it happening in the way Scott Frost left UCF or Nebraska. He stayed with the team until the bowl game.
Yeah.
And then left Nebraska, but they mentioned it right off the bat, like right around the third quarter or fourth quarter, like they announced that Scott Frost was going to Nebraska, like during the game as well. Like they put that on the TV during the AAC championship as well. So that was just a little bit of an interesting nugget, and maybe Willie Fritz follows that track as well. I thought personally, and this was a while back ago, because I was I was having a little bit of concerns on whether or not Chris Kleiman was going to stay at K-State for a while. And with the way Iowa was shaping up at the time, just things weren't panning out. Maybe Kirk Ferentz was seeing his final few years. Shout out to Immaculate as well, Mr. Hawkeye. But he would have been Willie Fritz would have been one of my top coaching candidates if Chris Kleiman would have left K-State, considering that he has a lot of Kansas ties. He's from the Kansas City Metro, for that matter, too. So
yeah,
I don't know. It'll be something to monitor as well. And then also, I did want to mention this as well. So if looking at the group of 5 championship games, of course, if you got Liberty with a chance to possibly go to the New Year's Six, you got Tulane with a chance to go to the New Year's Six as well. But if Tulane and Liberty both lose, would they bring in either a Toledo who won the MAC, who would win the MAC, or would you also bring in an SMU team that I believe they have 10 wins this season? They can get the 11th one over Tulane. Would you place Toledo in the top group of 6 slot, or would you put SMU possibly for the New Year's Six bowl game?
That is a great question. SMU, let's take a look at their 2 losses. They lost to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. And they lost to TCU.
So, but on the other hand, Toledo, they lost a ridiculous game, a miracle finish by Illinois, 30-28. Illinois quarterback just threw up a prayer, and the receiver caught it for a fourth. It was a 4th and long situation. That's the only loss Toledo has. That was the first game of the year. I think you can have a really good debate of the Toledo versus SMU. And I think you can get a lot of people to agree with you on SMU. But we know that the committee probably will side with the conference champion, right?
Yeah.
Toledo. Now, do you remember? Let me see if I can find it. The last college football playoff ranking. Who was rated ahead of? Who was rated Toledo or SMU?
We were talking about the last playoff rankings.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any receiving votes for the playoff rankings, but in terms of the AP, I think they had SMU at 25 as well. Here, I'll take a look at it for that matter too.
Okay. See, the college football playoff rankings on November 28th. If you take a look, you have Liberty 24, Tulane 22. But that's, they don't list Toledo or SMU.
Look, I recommend looking at the AP Top 25 if you want to possibly get any.
But those are a different set of voters,
Yeah.
I don't think that would. I'm taking a look at it right now. Liberty's 20, Toledo's 23, SMU's 25. I don't know how much that helps us, but it's a good argument. It's going to be, if Liberty loses tonight, that opens up the possibility of that may happening. And then you would, for that chaos to happen, you would need Tulane to lose, right?
Yeah. In the long run, it might not even matter because Tulane and Liberty, for that matter, they can win their conference championship games and set them well for a New Year's Six slot as well. I don't know. I was just good.
Yeah.
I just heard comments early on. It's like, it'll be Toledo if it's not Tulane or Liberty, but then because SMU would be beating Tulane, then that's where things get a little bit interesting as well. even Toledo's opponent, Miami of Ohio, is not that bad either. They have 10 wins this season.
Yeah.
They won at Cincinnati for that matter too. So
I like the quarterback. I like Miami, Ohio's quarterback.
He's
Gabbert. So he's a kid with a lot of moxie. Yeah, Toledo's going to have to play. They're going to have to play good to win.
For sure.
Yeah.
All righty.
All right.
I will probably listen into the live Oregon-Washington game on your YouTube.
Beautiful.
Probably I'll up a little bit late, but I'll make sure to plan on hopping in, seeing what's going on.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Have a good one, Greg. God bless.
You too. Thank you, Kansas State fan. John Grove. Great call, Mr. Kansas State in PATC. Grayson McCall visiting North Carolina State. I did see that. People are lining up their visits right now. Immaculate. It's a shame Traylor's buyout is too high. The Houston opportunity would have been perfect for him. Tony White hit the jackpot. $600,000 raise. I did see that. I'm going to pop it up on the screen. Nebraska announced on Friday today that they have restructured the contract of defensive coordinator Tony White. The new deal will make White the highest paid assistant coach in Nebraska school history and the third highest paid assistant coach in the Big Ten. Tony White, the name was circulating. Possible head coach, Syracuse, San Diego State, where he's an alum. But he is staying at Nebraska, getting paid to stay at Nebraska. And if Nebraska puts together another good defensive year next year, he's got a lot of his guys coming back, especially on the defensive line. Ty Robinson and a few other cats on the D-line. Tony White might be looking at a pretty good opportunities after the 2024 season. USC, were they looking at trying to get Tony White as a defensive coordinator? Oh, they were, huh? Okay, so we are going to shut down the live show for right now, the stream for right now, because we're coming back live. 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 Pacific Time. Let me say that again. 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific Time. Watch party. The Pac-12 Championship. The Washington Huskies versus the Oregon Ducks. Right here, this college football YouTube channel. Come watch it at home, on your phone, on your tablet, and put down your comments and thoughts in real time as we all watch it together. We'll have the old chalkboard scoreboard in back of us. We're going to have a lot of fun. Phone lines will be open. So join us later this evening. It's a doubleheader. We're coming on watch party. Washington, Oregon, Pac-12 champion. The winner will go to the College Football 14 Invitational. So join us. Thank you all for joining us here this afternoon. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for the new Early Peak memberships. Thank you for the comments and the phone calls. Until next time, which is going to be in about an hour and a half, about 100 minutes from now. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.